Hey, you guys. I'm trying to adjust my camera. Hey, you guys. I'm just trying to adjust my camera. How are you guys doing? Okay. I thought I would just make this really quick. Hope you guys are having a really good weekend. I don't, as you guys know, I don't get to normally do a whole lot of videos, so I'm going to try to make this one quick. My children are not going to be yelling in the background today. Hopefully not. If you hear them yell, then oh well. I just wanted to say something just really quick. And you know, hi, Lori. You know, you know how sometimes, you know, you have to sit on yourself, you know, in order to, you just got to sit on yourself sometimes, in order to not, you know, just say something out of time or say something that you shouldn't. I just want to say this really quick. You know, I've been thinking about race relations and everything in America and all these different things, and you know, I've seen a lot of odd things this week concerning race, and this is what I've seen. You know, I was told, and I had a personal conversation with someone a couple of days ago, and I saw it in at least 15 to you know, 20 different places on, you know, Twitter and, you know, Facebook, that Michael Slager and the verdict that that came out of the Walter Scott case, and you know, he received 19 to 24 years. And I was told by other black individuals that him only getting 19 to 24 years was considered to be white privilege. And I thought, wow, okay. A police officer actually is convicted, and rightfully so, and it's still white privilege. Amazing. And then I saw the situation with the young man, Daniel Shaver, which is, there's a complete media blackout, by the way. Because, see, in America, and in American media, if you are not the right color, you're not going to get the news coverage that you deserve. You see, Daniel Shaver was a white kid who was shot by a police officer and was also unarmed. But you don't really see much going on in the media about it, do you? And the officer that shot him was acquitted and is walking around. But all I heard this week, I didn't hear anything about about Daniel Slager. Daniel Shaver. All I heard was that it's Michael Slager has you know, white privilege because he didn't get, you know, more than 20 years. Let me just say this. Let me just say this. And then I see today that John Lewis and some other people decided that they were not going to attend the opening of a civil rights museum in Mississippi because President Trump was going to be there. This is 2017, and this is race relations in America. And I thought to myself when I was sitting, you know, this evening, and I was looking at all of this, and I thought to myself, people look at me and they hear the words that come out of my mouth, and they immediately think that I am incompatible, that I have no idea what is going on in Black America. They think that you have some kind of in, you know, with your white friends, all the above. And let me just say this to you. Let me just say this to the people, okay, that continue to drone on and on and on and on and on about white privilege and about, oh my gosh, Trump is so racist, and oh my gosh, things are so terrible in this nation. Let me just say this to you, okay? When I was just a baby, my father was nothing more than a small town drug dealer. who grew up in extreme poverty. My mother grew up in an abusive home. They came out of obstacles that still plague African Americans today, except much worse. And when I was just a baby, my small town drug dealer father decided that he was going to make a change for his family. I grew up in what was then, I don't know about now, but it was then the second poorest town in the state of Oklahoma. That's where my father grew up. That's where my father was born. And he was a small town drug dealer when I was just an infant. But he made a decision that he was going to do something more with his life and that he wanted better for his children. And at the time, it was just me and my older sister. So you know what he did? He got saved. He got a job. He stopped dealing drugs. He moved me and my mom and my sister out of the neighborhood that we were in, thus changing the course of our lives. No one told him that he couldn't. They bought houses. No one told him that he couldn't. He got a good job. Nobody told him that he couldn't. They started a business. Nobody told them that they couldn't. They put us in good schools. Nobody told them that they couldn't. I attended a church most of my life that was predominantly white, that loved us. Nobody told us that we couldn't. No one. In an area that was known for the KKK to come marching through, where black people live in poverty on one side of the city and people lived on the other side of the street when they were growing up. No one told my father and my mother that they couldn't do those things. Nobody did. Nobody did. Nobody did. They did it because they had the privilege to do so in a nation like America. You know why white privilege doesn't exist? Because while I was attending good schools, and while I lived in a nice home, and while I was given much more than what a lot of people who were African American were given, there were white children who had less than I did. No one told my father and my mother, my black father and my black mother, that they couldn't rise above any type of racial disparity, any type of racial inequality. Anyone that looks at you and calls you the N-word, anybody that looks at you and says that you will never be enough. You are looking right here at living, breathing example of what happens when you have passion and the ability to overcome, just like Jesus said that we could. I am a living, breathing example of that. I am a living, breathing example, not that black people who don't pretend to be the victim, who aren't the victim, that isn't out there. I am an example of what happens when people come from nothing. I am an example of what happens when black people overcome what people tell them that they can't have. In the midst of racial stuff, in the midst of poverty, abuse, addiction. I don't walk around and say the things that I say because it's some kind of right-wing ideology. I say the things that I say because my parents instilled in me, it doesn't matter what anybody says to you, you can do whatever it is that you want to do. Sounds cliche, but they did it. Over 60 plus years ago, we had civil rights in this nation. People were imprisoned. People were spit on, threatened, killed, so that we could have what we have right now. And what do we have right now? People like John Lewis standing down, ironically, for a civil rights museum to be open only for them to protest it because the president's going to be there. That's where we are today in America, folks. That's what those people died for. Was so that we could exude the very racism that we're trying to call out. Shameful. God help the wounded souls of Black Americans in this nation. God help our people. God help the people in this nation that believe that it is okay because of the color of their skin to hate anybody. I am more because I have the ability to be more, not because a white person tells me that I can't or a black person tells me that I can't. I have more because Jesus Christ died on the cross for me, and the Word of God says that I can overcome anything. You don't think that I don't deal with racial stuff? You don't think that people don't say things to me and my husband because we're Black? Of course we do. But let me tell you something. There are African Americans, there are people all over this nation who have the exact same story. The exact same story. Do you want to know why you're not hearing any prominent Black leaders? You know why you're not hearing any Black people in government or Black people in entertainment? Or Black people anywhere? Do you notice that all these people who are prominent, they're millionaires, they got all this money and prestige and opportunity in this nation? Do you ever notice that they get up and they use their platform 90% of the time to tell other Black people that you don't stand a chance in this nation? How did they get to where they're at? I mean, really? You're using your platform to tell other African Americans, you can't make it here. This country's racist. Oh, so was it not racist when you got to your platform? Was it not racist when you got to be a billionaire and a millionaire? How did that happen? You made it in America. Why can't I? Black people, you better wake up and realize what's going on. You better wake up. And let me just say this. Being Black and conservative in this nation is not a trend. You have no idea what my family went through simply because my father wanted better. You have no idea how my family was shunned. My father was respected more as a drug dealer than when he became more successful and did better for his family by the Black community, if that tells you anything. And it is exactly what we see today, where the idea and the thug life is glorified above success, above learning how to read. I feel sorry for John Lewis. I feel sorry for this man that he did all that he did in the civil rights movement only to end up working for people that helped literally in agreement with people that he was once up against. That's what's happening right now in this nation. And I'm telling you right now, I will never stop releasing to African Americans that you have opportunity in this country. You have opportunity in this nation. Let me let you in on a little secret here. When I was growing up, we had monumental support from white individuals in our lives who loved my family. They didn't tell me how to wear my hair. They didn't tell me how to speak. They didn't tell me that I couldn't be Black. They didn't tell me that I was too Black. They didn't tell me anything. They allowed me to be who I was, and they poured into that. And it was wonderful. Whereas Black people were the ones that told me that I didn't talk the right way, that I didn't sound the right way, that I didn't dress the right way. I didn't have the hips like a black girl was supposed to have. I didn't have the face that a black girl was supposed to have. I didn't wear my hair the way that a black girl was supposed to have. Do you see what I'm saying? Do you see what I'm saying? You think that you're up against the big bad white people? No, sweetie, that's what the media has portrayed to you. Without big bad white people, the Democrat Party wouldn't have anybody to save. And they would not be allowed to be your social justice warrior when Jesus has already came to save what needs to be saved in your life. Is it going to be easy for you? No. It wasn't easy for my parents. It wasn't easy for my parents. It wasn't easy for me. Let me let you in on one more secret. You don't even know my husband's background, but it was far worse than mine. My husband started two businesses. Nobody told him that he couldn't. Most of the neighborhoods that we have lived in have been predominantly white. Nobody told us that we couldn't live there. I have two not-for-profits that I don't even talk about. Nobody told me that I couldn't start them. Everything that we've done in life, no one has told us that we couldn't do it. Not a single person. Not a single person has told us that we cannot do what we want to do in this country. But it's not going to be easy. The problem is that we want everything to be easy in this country. We want everything to be, please, everybody like us. Nobody has to like you to succeed. Nobody has to be your friend to succeed. Nobody has to do anything for you to succeed. Go ask Snoop Dogg how he did it. Go ask Oprah how she did it. Go ask Whoopi Goldberg how she did it. Go ask all these people that are constantly complaining about how terrible big bad America is while they're swimming in their millions. Go ask them. Maybe they'll be able to help you. You have opportunity. And guess what? If there are things going on in this nation that you don't like, you have the opportunity to change them. You have opportunity to change the circumstances around you. You have the opportunity to get up and say, this is wrong. We want to change it. This is not the way that I want this to be in this country. Maybe we should change it. Even if people don't agree with you, you live in a nation where you can get up and you can do something about it. You can hold assembly. You can get on social media. You can start an organization. You can do whatever it is that you want to do to make your voice heard if you don't like it. So here on the day that the Civil Rights Museum was supposed to be, open and everything in Mississippi, you have opportunity. And before people start going on with the whole thing of, well, that's not a, you're absolutely right. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be actually quite hard. It's going to be quite hard. You're going to lose friends. You're going to lose family members. You're going to lose people that you thought that they cared about you. You're going to have to be able to stand and look at racist people in the face and still succeed and do what God has called you to do, because that's not going to go away. We have opportunity here. We have opportunity here. And we're wasting it. We're wasting it. We're wasting it complaining about things that have already been set into motion. Civil rights was instilled and it came into fruition. And sometimes it's embarrassing because people back in the 1920s and in the late 1800s, they did so much more than what we're doing today. And they did it in the face of incredible opposition. They started businesses. Incredible opposition. They were spit on. They were threatened. They were killed. So that we could have what we have now. And we should be taking that way further. I'm not going to ever stop saying what I've just said. I'm never going to stop saying it. This is not to look at African Americans and say, pull your bootstraps up. This is to say that there are people all around you who are ready to help you. This is to say there are white individuals, Hispanic individuals, black individuals, Native American individuals, Jewish individuals that are all around you that are there to help you get you to your destination. It doesn't mean that my life is yours. I don't have to apologize for having the life that I had because my father shifted it and my mother shifted it. But it's one of the biggest reasons why I say what I say, because I absolutely love African Americans. I love people. I absolutely love people. It has nothing to do with government. It has nothing to do with society. It has to do with you grabbing a hold of what God has said over your life and running with it. Be encouraged. Be encouraged if people are talking about you and telling you that you're not going to be anything because you've decided that you want to start a business. Be encouraged if people are dropping like flies around you and don't want to support you because you're successful. You have opportunity, and I will never stop saying that. I will never stop. I will never stop releasing that. That's my 2 cents. And please know that I say this with passion, not with anger, but with passion. We have a seat at the table. It's there. Just go sit down. I love you guys. We're going to see this racial crap. It's coming down. Because we're going to begin to release the sound of unity into the atmosphere. We are not victims. We are not victims. You are not a victim. You are not a victim. You are not a victim. There may be circumstances that have made you a victim, but you are victorious and you have the ability to stand up and tell the enemy to go straight to hell where he belongs and begin to exude who God has created you to be. That is what you have. And if you think that you're going to do it without white people or Native American people or Indian people or anybody around you, you're wrong. You guys take care. Don't share this video if you know if it's going to get you in trouble. But share it if you do find that it resonates with you. All right, guys? Y'all take care.